It's Thursday night, 10 o'clock at night. It's my son who needs money or help with homework or he's in trouble. So I'm like, okay, it's 10 o'clock at night. Who could this possibly be? Well, it's the producer. She calls me up and she says, hey, look, we got this thing going in a couple of weeks, but I need you to do me a favor. I need you to do a video. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't worry about the producing of it, but get it to me tomorrow morning by 9. I said, okay, I'm flying out at 9, so it's not going to happen at 9. It's going to happen at 5 in the morning. Now, I also have products that have been in the industry for a while. I have a Dust Deputy, which is a product that attaches to a shop vac, and it eliminates the clogging of the filter and having to dump out the big bucket or to stop, especially for a contractor on the job. So I got to work. I actually called some of my colleagues up. They said, let's go to work right now. Let's go in right now and do this film. I said, I'm going back to bed. Let's do it in the morning, 5 o'clock. So I wrote the script at 5 o'clock. They set it up in the lab. By 7, we had shot. We did this make-believe teleprompter behind the camera, so you can see my eyes moving a little bit. But again, it wasn't a big deal because they said, don't worry about the producing. We want to see how you are on camera, so when you present, we want to see how you do. So I did it. We did it in about an hour. I actually sent it to her before I left, drove to the airport, got in a plane, and that was Thursday, so Friday morning I did it. Monday morning she said, we love it, we want you on the show. And that's how it started. And it's interesting that my first attempt on Good Morning America, I took a lot of pictures. So oddly enough, my wife was calling me a stalker. Stop taking so many pictures. It's just kind of uncomfortable. I'm like, I got ideas. Just work with me a little bit. Well, a year later, now I've been on Good Morning America 3 times. I've been on the American Woodshop, PBS, which has about 44 million hits on YouTube. I'm going to History Channel and doing an event with Operation Build with Alexis Panos coming up in November, and I have an interview with Kathy Ireland. Now, if some of you may know her, may not know her, some of you may know Kathy Ireland from Sports Illustrated. Well, she has a $2 billion business. She's worth more than every shark except Mark Cuban. Her net worth is $470 million. So this whole little stalking event that my wife kindly calls turned out to be something rather big. Now we have the History Channel wanting to do a complete show on clean air in the workplace next year. So it's really blown up. Our sales are off the chart. We're in a lot of retail stores now and we're continuing to grow. I got a chance to meet John. I didn't know John at all in the Shark Tank event. And obviously with Judy too, but John and I have become personal friends. Our families are friends from this. So it started out with something really innocent and blew up into something really, really positive and encouraging for anybody trying to do this. So we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Thank you, Chris. You know what's amazing what he just said? He starts out here and it ends up over here. But sometimes you have to trust your gut and you have to take those chances. And sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. So that's what's really amazing, that the opportunity at Shark Tank opened doors for every one of you, I'm sure it has. I want to ask you, what were some of the times when you were doing the Shark Tank episode that you just thought you messed up? Or what would you have done different? Looking back, if you had to replay it again, what would you do different, Judy?
Oh my gosh, I've never had that question before. What would I do different? I feel like that you never can be too prepared to get on a program like that. You have we had an hour. We was actually in there for an hour. They edit down to 7 minutes. But you can never be too prepared for that. Number one, you need to know your figures. You need to know your business. You need to know your customers. You need to know product cost, all of your acquisition. I mean, everything that you can possibly think of. You need to be prepared for that. I wasn't exactly prepared for everything, but most of the questions went to if you saw the episode, I was there with my son, he's our CEO, and he had been drilled on everything, so I just kind of sit back and let him do that. But, gosh, what would I don't even know what I would, other than I think that a lot of people go on there not prepared, with the product and with the numbers that they need to present.
You know what's amazing too? Being prepared for any opportunity, you have to have as much information as you can. And that's what I love about Shark Tank. It teaches you about doing the math, right? Because they're going to ask that question. They're going to ask you a question about intellectual property. All right, look at the prior art. We talked about that. They're going to ask you about how many did you sell. They're going to ask you all these really important things that you need to ask yourself. And it almost sounds like a business plan when you think about it. That's what it is. It's asking yourself some really good questions and being prepared. So John, you're up next. What would you do different? What did you learn from it?
What I would do different probably, and it might sound funny, is I probably would have walked slower. Because they had it to the point where, you know, you're walking down and the door's open. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. So I have a man to the left and a man to the right. I'm like, all right, guys, listen. When the door's open, walk at an even pace. You know, don't walk too fast or anything. They had the countdown. And then they're like, stop. So like we were ready to walk and they stopped. The camera was broke. Something happened. I don't know. So now we had to go through the countdown again. And that is the hardest part. Your heart's pumping. So then when they opened the doors, finally it was like, I ran out there. Now there's a cameraman in front of you, so he's filming. So he's got the thing, like I ran over the cameraman. He's juggling the camera and everything. And I was like, and I look behind and they're all behind me. Meanwhile, only like the guy that's like, hey, walk slow. But we actually, they give you an area where you walk up to and you stop. We basically just passed right up there and walked right in front of them. They're like, guys, you got to step it back a bit. So we did. Preparation, like Judy said, though, is absolutely key. I mean, you know, you see a portion of it, but you're in there for, in our case, we were probably in there for an hour and 15 minutes. But we got lucky because, you know, our Kevin, Mr. Wonderful, you know, he's the guy that says, oh, you got a hobby, get out of here, you know. We were fortunate enough where he was like, wow, this is really interesting. So he made his offer, and I was able to answer questions, and it went smooth. The preparation was the key, though. And then they doubled up and they doubled down, and by the time we knew it, they were just arguing over our product, and everyone wanted it. So it was really, really cool, and that gave you a real sense of strength once that happened. Now it was like there wasn't a nervous bone in my body, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, who am I taking? So it worked out well, and we were able to answer the questions. So that was the key. We weren't like, and you know, they found it to be, you know, quite a value. At the end, actually, we made the deal with Lori Guerrera, and that's who we went there to make the deal with. So it couldn't have went better. It really couldn't.
Very good. Thank you, John. All right, I got a tough question for Chris, because he's all over social media. He's got the pictures, you're on TV shows. How do you take an opportunity that you just took, and how do you blow it up a little bit? Because when you have that opportunity, when your foot's in the door, you want to open it up as wide as you can. And I know Chris is amazing at this because I see you everywhere. How do you do it?
I think it's important, especially if you're not known, right? If you're not a big name, you need to tell your story. So what I always find is, and I think even when I met Tom Gray for the first time, it was by chance. It was at Walmart. He overheard us talking, and he caught an interest, and then one thing led to another. I mean, I have a strong manufacturing background, so I can tell the story and I can back it up. I'm a Lean Six Sigma guy. I've run big Fortune 500 companies, including BMW and Ford Motor Company and Mack Truck. So I have that ability. But I think what I do is what my opportunities are. I tell the story, and pictures give you credibility. So you can talk all day long, and if you have no substance, then it becomes a story. So with the photos and the journey I take, I tell the story. So everywhere I go, I try to get it up on all the media websites, up on our websites, Facebook, I use LinkedIn, Twitter, I'm on some of the Woodcraft and American Woodshop sites. So I really try to tell the story. So when somebody talks to me about it, I can truly say, hey, this is what I started out with, and here's the journey I took, and it immediately gives credibility. It's not someone, you know, on Good Morning America, I met Robin Roberts. That's great. Oh, no, here's a picture of Robin Roberts hugging me. Now it's real. It's a real event. It took place, and I'm actually friends with these people. So it tells the story, it breeds and builds credibility. So immediately, now the person listens with intent. Now they say, okay, this guy has really got a story that he's able not to just tell, but he can show, and it builds credibility to take it to whatever level you're looking to take it at. So for me, it's all about credibility. And again, that's how all of us work, and it gives us opportunities to help others as well. I mean, John and I have an opportunity at times where people come to us for advice, and we're able to show them how we started and the path that we took to get to the level we're at. And for me, it's passion, it's drive. I'm a competitor. I like to move fast, sometimes too fast for some people, but I like to move. Because for me, time is the essence, and I want to be able to continue to jump the heights and grow the business and really make everybody in my company happy. It's a culture that I build that's, I say I hire business athletes. I want guys and people that really feel passionate and drive it, and we build it together as a team. And when you do it as a team, it goes incredibly fast, very fast, and everyone is bought into it.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's kind of amazing here that you leverage one opportunity to the next. So always start small. Take a small step. If it's a local paper, start there. Get practice in front of the camera, make a relationship, because from the local you can go maybe a little regional, maybe even national. So don't try to make the big jumps. I think what's great, what Chris was saying is look for every opportunity and take it and document it now, right? I mean, in fact, I even saw my face in some of his literature where I was everywhere. Where you were, I was everywhere. He was leveraging again. It's very, very smart, you guys. So next time you do one of these events, if you see someone that can take you to another step higher, get their picture, get their card, make a relationship, right? Because it's all about relationship. It's not what you know, it's who you know at times. Start small, grow it. It's something I've done over the years, and I know this whole team is a master at it now, right? So, all right, let's get to dirt. Everybody really want the dirt here? What's really going on behind the scenes there, right? Are the sharks really nice, or are they really mean? I mean, tell us your feeling about it, because what we see on TV, I don't know if that's exactly right.